Hello anybody, and welcome back to Let's Play Banjo-Kazooie. I am Mr. Devious, or just Deeb, and in the last episode we did 7 Jiggies worth of Bubblegloop Swamp, and in today's episode we are going to be finishing it up. That means all the notes that are kind of scattered around in the last 3 Jiggies, which are actually kind of concentrated in this area over here. However, there are some things that we can only get with something in the maze that is up here, and you might already know what it is, but, well, for those of you who don't know, it's going to be a surprise, but there's some things in this level that you can't really easily get without it. And we are going to enter this maze and get this new Wading Boots ability that we found. So as I was saying in the last episode, the moves from the 4th world onward, the moves that you learn, you only learn like 1 move per world in the middle 3 worlds. And they're usually very context sensitive, like and they're only going to be able to use them whenever the game sees fits. Now you might be saying that the shock jump pads and the flight pads are also context sensitive on where they appear, but they're generally a lot more available in the game than these boots are, as well as the other moves in terms of usability. So that's what I feel about the moves, is that they're more specialized and they're more advanced, and I think that's a pretty cool detail. So before we continue through the maze, we're actually going to want to hit this button, which in the last episode created a Jiggy, and in this episode it creates another Jiggy with a short timer across a narrow path. Unlike the first one we did, the 10 seconds is actually not very much time to work with, because if you go too fast and you fall, you will have to do that whole maze again. I kind of was hoping to fail, because if you do fail, Grunty says something like, "You will not get Grunty's gold!" and mocks you for being slow. And we don't want to fall in the swamp, because then we have to go back a long way, but you need some pretty good... I mean, you just want to be walking. You don't want to be Kazooie and try to jump. So anyway, as we come to the end of this maze, we will see what we have sought this whole time, and it is Mumbo's skull. And it... friggin' dragonfly! I guess the one I killed in the last episode was not the only one in the world, I just have crap memory. So there's nothing behind Mumbo's skull, but it's always worth checking out to see if there is something, and we're gonna go inside. We actually haven't seen Mumbo since the first world in the game, and that's pretty interesting, considering he's like, "I'm the best shaman in the game," and then you don't see him until the 4th world, which is actually not that bad, because it means that you get to build up your Mumbo tokens, which you need in order for the transformations. So across all the worlds we've already done, we've already built up 21 tokens, but the transformation is more expensive, and I'm sorry that I'm taking a while to get to actually the transformation, but I gotta get this honeycomb piece. No! I don't want to transform yet. But I will say that this transformation... oh my god. There! Jeez, that was annoying. Okay, let's do this. This is actually my favorite transformation in the game, even though it's only the second one. Wait, Mumbo need new boots. Only kidding. Mumbo does this a lot. He'll turn you into something and then he'll make fun of you for your transformation. But anyway, this is the Crocodile, and it's my favorite transformation in the game. In addition to just being, you're a cool gator, you actually get an attack. You can chomp. You're like, "Nyah, nyah, nyah." And I know that was just a succinct summary of what you do, and it was amazing. And I realized there were notes over here that you can only get when you're Banjo and Kazooie, but that's just fine. We'll get it a little bit later. Not right now, though. So as the Crocodile, you of course have the biting attack, and if you kill enemies with the biting attack, or at least the frogs, I guess you get 2 honeycombs. I forgot about that. But this is actually why this is my favorite move in the game, or my favorite transformation in the game, is that this is the only one in the game that actually allows you any form of self-defense. And I know that's crazy to think about, but yeah, Crocodile is the only one with an attack, and it kind of really undercuts the usefulness of the other transformations. However, like other transformations in the game, you only really need it for like 2 or 3 Jiggies. Even so, I still really like it. I think it looks really funny and cute aesthetically, and we are actually going to be going in... we're not going to be going in there, actually. We are going to be coming back to that, but we're not going to be going in there just yet. Before we do go in there, I want to go over here. And the reason that I want to go over here is I want to grab some stuff, like some notes and things. You could just grab a pair of... I don't think there are any boots around here in any nearby location, but you could jump down here with the Wonder Wing, but generally that uses way too many gold feathers for you to really get everything to... oh, so there are boots down here, and now I feel really stupid. But, well, I guess that's egg on my face. Anyway, it is funny that they don't have any Mumbo transformations until the 4th world, and we almost have 15, which is the next amount of Mumbo tokens we'll need for the next transformation, which is actually fairly soon, so it's a good thing that we have this many Mumbo tokens. So I guess the spacing kinda works, but I still would have preferred it if they put a transformation in, like, Clanker's Cavern. Or even if they switched Bubblegloop Swamp with Clanker's Cavern, I think would have worked to their advantage, maybe. Because Crocodile's a lot of fun, and I do like Bubblegloop Swamp. It is very much, even though it's like a gross aesthetic level, like Clanker's Cavern was, it feels different enough to be its own thing. So anyway, we're going to be going into this Crocodile Nostril. And we're going to be finding some notes. We cannot fit in here as Banjo and Kazooie, we are too big. And here we come to one of my favorite characters in the game.
I'm Mr. Vile, greediest croc of all play. All play my game to win a prize. Press A to accept, or B to chicken out. Game is simple. Eat more red yumblies than me. Press X to eat yumblies. Ready? 3, 2, 1... Go!
So this is like one of the few mini games in the game, and I think it's hilarious. It's actually one of the harder parts of the game too. This is Mr. Vile, and he is one of my favorites, and I'm only going to touch on this very briefly because this has nothing to do with Banjo-Kazooie, but he's a very minor character. He doesn't appear outside of Banjo-Kazooie. He doesn't appear in Banjo-Tooie like a lot of characters reappear, but I think his name is fantastic, Mr. Vile. It's so great that I use it as my Steam handle on Steam, and that's all I'm really going to say on the matter. And a lot of people recognize the name from Banjo-Kazooie because this character is just great because he talks like this, and he's like, And he just generally, he's hilarious. He's a big red croc, and he eats red yumblies, and he taunts you, and I think he's hilarious. Even though he's a very minor 2-bit character, I did steal his name. And I'll always appreciate him for the name, because Mr. Vile is just very phonetically pleasing. I could talk more about this minigame, but we'll be playing it for a while, so there'll be plenty of opportunities. Even though we won.
Yeah, you only win easy game. Now we play harder game. Eat reds, avoid yellow grumblies. They not ripe. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
The 3, 2, 1 thing is kind of weird, though, like that they actually physically count down. I'm not sure why they do that. So the general strategy when you're dealing with Mr. Vile in these games is you want to go for the same ones that he's going for. Generally, he's faster than you, but if you chew, you can kind of get ahead of him. You want to kind of aim for the yumblies he's going for, because you have a better chance of winning if you just eat the ones that he's aiming for and reduce his count than if you just kind of try to compete. And if you eat one of the yellow yumblies, you will cough and you will lose your lead, and that's not good. Oh jeez. Great. No. This is bad. We do not want to lose to Mr. Vile, because if we do, I think he's going to take a bite right out of us, and we do not want that. No! Oh wait, I got that. That's fine. Also, Mr. Vile does not eat the yellow yumblies and gets sick. He is too smart to do that, or he just has a strong immune system. I've never seen him eat something that's made him sick, but he might do it in the next version of this game, and yes, there's another version.
Bah! Lucky Greenie wins. Must play last game. Only eat what is shown at top of screen. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go!
So now, we're going to be eating both kinds. Even though the yellow ones aren't ripe, he's still going to have us try and eat them, and that's kind of hilarious. Now, this game could be hard. Actually, this is a very hard version of the game, but it's made much easier by one very simple fact. And that is, if you keep in mind that the thing at the top, the yumblies, it changes every 10 seconds. Right on the mark, it never fails. And that is how you do this game. That is how you know when to switch over. And that, because a lot of the time when you would play this as a kid, or just when you play this and not notice the pattern, you could screw yourself by going for a thing, and then going for a red yumbly, and then it just suddenly changes to a yellow yumbly. It makes you sick, and then Mr. Vile pulls ahead, and then you have a bad time because he pulled ahead and beat you. But that's okay, because in this minute that we've done this, we have won, and we have beaten him. We did it!
Mr. Vile never lost before. Greenie can have prize.
Of course, as soon as we take it...
Mr. Vile now has tougher challenge if Greenie not scared. You must win next 3 games to win 3 extra lives. But each time Greenie loses, Mr. Vile chomps you for 1 life. Press A to accept or B to slide off like a slug.
We're gonna slide off like a slug.
Mr. Vile is best croc of all. Look everyone, Greenie is scurrying off.
Well, the 3 lives really aren't worth it. They just are not. You do not need them, and especially for a harder challenge. You might have been wondering also what those shoes at the back of the arena were, and we're not going to get into those just yet because they're just not really important yet. So now that we've taken care of that, all we really need to do now is get 1 more Jinjo, which I kind of forgot where he is, but otherwise that's about it. Oh wait, I think I know where he is. And we're not gonna get him just yet. He's at the top of one of those cattails. Before we actually take care of that, I am gonna want to leave the world first. And you're probably like, Mr. Devious, what are you doing? And this is actually something... Actually, I'm not gonna leave the world just yet because we don't want to leave the world just yet. I'm sorry, I'm just getting ahead of myself. What we want to do is actually turn ourselves back. Because we've actually done most of the stuff that is required to do with the croc, and I know that's crazy. Banjo-Kazooie, as I've said, has a habit of giving you these transformations, and then you only really need them for like 1 or 2 Jiggies, and, well, whatever. You're basically trading tokens for Jiggies, but at least this one gives you a fun character, and he's so cute. I like the croc, he's hilarious. Look at his feet, look at his mouth. I always wonder what happens to Kazooie during these transformations, because do they get formed into one person? The second game seems to imply so. Oh well. So we're gonna have ourselves turned back. And we're gonna head out. Now that we've done that, we can get the last couple notes as well as the last Jinjo in this world, which will get us a Jiggy, which will get us to the next world. Of course, we're gonna need these boots as we go over this way. These boots. I don't know why I'm talking like an idiot, but I digress. Actually, one of my favorite parts about this game is that you can cancel out of power-ups if you didn't want to pick them up, or if you're done with them. And I think that's just the coolest thing, and not enough games do that. So if you pick up the boots but you don't want to wear them, you just press the X button and boom, they're gone. And that's just great. It's great. Now, as you can see, there are those last 3 notes. There's that Jinjo, and that's actually going to finish up the world for us. And what we want to do is just jump from cattail to cattail. That's the best way to do this part. I actually used a lot of eggs, all things considering, but like I said in like the first episode, and I hate to repeat myself so much, but it does bear worth repeating, or You found all 100 notes on this world. Well done! It is worth repeating that as long as you pick up eggs that you see on your journey, you should never be hurting. And with that, we have the 10th Jiggy and finished up Bubblegloop Swamp. For the most part. I mean, we are technically done here, but we're gonna have to come back in. And there's a very important reason for that. And I'm going to be explaining a more efficient way you could have done what I am not doing, or like a more efficient way that I'm going about what I'm about to do, but there's a reason that I did the things the way I did, and this will make more sense when I explain them as soon as I get out of the world. Because it's kind of hard to explain as I'm here, but yeah, all the Jiggies, all the notes, all of that. Bubblegloop Swamp is done. I like Bubblegloop Swamp. The funny thing about its theme is I don't even think it's my favorite track in the game yet. It's one of the most easily impressed into my brain. Like, if it gets stuck in my head, I usually have trouble getting it out. Oh, I'm just gonna murder this guy. There we go. And we are out. But yeah, the track from Bubblegloop Swamp really sticks in my head, whether I want it to or not. I mean, it's not a bad track. I mean, I think it is a good track, like every other track in this game, but it's certainly not my favorite track. Yet whenever a Banjo-Kazooie theme gets stuck in my head, it's usually like Spiral Mountain or Bubblegloop Swamp, so that's curious. Now I'm just trying to remember which of these logs had the boots. Because these are the boots that are like, yeah, you can't put your feet in here. But now we can. And the reason we want these is because we want to go down the swamp water, down that tunnel. Now the most efficient way to do this would be to actually go down this tunnel before you get the boots. And the way you want to do that is to just kind of use the Wonder Wing and like stand on the inside of this log with the Talon Trot. I think that works effectively. But, I mean, you can otherwise even just tank the damage, and with that, we're actually going to see the entrance to the next world, as well as the kind of environment we're going to be going through. And the kind of music we're going to be putting up with. It's very icy. I find it really cool that music can have, like, certain feels to them, and icy is one of those feels. I mean, not a lot of people like ice levels, but a lot of people love ice level music. But I digress. This is actually an ice level, a snow level that I know a lot of people love. And that is because it is just a ton of fun, and you can see what exactly the theme is going to be. It's going to open up a big wall with Banjo-Kazooie on them in Gruntilda's lair, and that's Freeze Easy Peak. Like, one of the fan favorite worlds in the game, and we're going to see why. It has a lot of memorable characters, a lot of memorable puzzles, and a lot of just memorable stuff, and it's just fun to play for the most part. Now, if you'll remember, we broke a big ice thing blocking a log up there, and that is why you want to come here before you go into Bubblegloop Swamp. You want to come down here, you want to break that ice, and you want to do that before you go into Bubblegloop Swamp, so that when you do beat Bubblegloop Swamp, you can come out of the world as a crocodile. And as a crocodile, you can come back over here, and you'll be able to go through that tunnel. That was the reason we couldn't go through that other tunnel as Banjo-Kazooie, is because they were simply too big. And we need a smaller thing, like a crocodile. Why is a crocodile smaller than a bear? Is a crocodile smaller than a bear? Hi, Alphoric! That's... sorry. It's just funny. Every time I see that, it makes me laugh. Every time I see somebody sign it, it's just kind of funny. Anyway. With that, we want to head down here. Not sure why they put a gold feather there. It's just kind of weird placement to me.
When I'm nice and slim once more, burgers, fries, and chips galore.
Grunty, you know you have to maintain a diet even after you get thin, right? But apparently not.
Cheater, the spell book you have found. Magic cheats I have for you.
Hey, Book Brain, what did you say? You better not give my spells away.
Which lost book, Finders Bear and Bird are, spell they get.
We sure do, Bag Lady! Come on, Book Boy, give us the spells!
Only one spell Cheeto can tell. Enter the code BLUEGGS on Sandcastle floor in Treasure Trove Cove World. Help you it will. Hidden in lair other spell books are, them you should find.
And we bounce away with a whee! And with that, we have gotten ourselves our first official cheat in the game. I mean, it's kind of a game-mandated cheat, so that's a little weird. So now what we want to do is we actually want to head all the way back down to Treasure Trove Cove, and we're actually just not going to go back in Bubblegloop Swamp to transform, because if you remember correctly, if you get too far away from the world, you just change back normally. So I'll meet you down in Treasure Trove Cove, Sandcastle. If there's one complaint I have about the crocodile, it's a little slower than Kazooie's Talon Trot.
Mumble Man get weak.
Yes, for some reason you do need to drain the water again. Bye, mine. And once you're in here, all you need to do is punch in the code BLUEGGS. Well, it's a little harder than when you came in here the first time because you won't record which buttons you've already hit. Mostly because you need to use the same ones a couple times. Friggin' crap! But it is nice to get a little indication. Oh, blue, E, and then eggs. You need 2 E's, so that's nice. Thankfully, it doesn't reset your code if you screw it up, so that's also nice. And that gives us 200 eggs.
200 eggs are now yours. Now 200 is maximum too.
That lousy cheat for extra eggs won't help bear and chicken legs.
So that means we basically never really need to get eggs again. And we'll be good for the rest of the game for eggs. So that's cool. So now that we've gotten a new cheat for eggs, and we've cleared out Bubblegloop Swamp, and we've put in all the pieces for Freeze Easy Peak, we've actually done a lot more in this episode than I thought we would. I mean, this has gotten pretty high up there in length. But before we continue on in Gruntilda's lair, I think we're going to end off the episode there, and we are going to... Ooh, spooky eyes. We're going to find out how to get that Jiggy inside the Gruntilda statue, and we're going to continue on to the next world in the game, Freeze Easy Peak. If you'd like to see that, then I just hope to see some somebody in the next one. Bye-bye!